Welcome back. You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Shannon Register, and every week we bring you news and information you can use on your next real estate transaction. This week we're talking about safety, and I want to talk about safety with your home when you're selling a vacant property, but also for even if you don't have your house for sale, we want to talk about safety for your home this summer because a lot of people go on vacation 1-2 weeks at a time and leave their home vacant, and we want to talk about safety for you guys as well who are going on vacation. So I've got Rania Mankarious here. She's with Crime Stoppers, and we're going to talk with them because Crime Stoppers does a whole lot more than just have that tip line to call into. They do a lot of community work, working with law enforcement, and she's got some great tips for us. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So let's start off by talking about just normal homeowners who are going to go on vacation this summer. They make a lot of preparations with flights and with packing and with getting everything purchased and ready for the trip. But a lot of them don't take the time to secure their home before they leave. So I want to talk about those things that you need to do before you leave to make sure that your property is secure.
Yeah, it's interesting because going away and traveling, it's just such a wonderful thing to do. And you're right. You're spending all this time online, making sure you have everything you need while you're gone. And then you're not thinking about your home when you leave. So what we do is tell people, think of everything. So first of all, whether it's social media down to the timers on the lights of the house, let's walk through it. Social media, we live our lives online, and we're not saying don't post anything about your trip because I know, and we know 90% of people are not going to listen, but be smart about what you're posting and have a backup plan. Know that if you're telling the world that you're gone, then you are raising and increasing the risk to your home. So what does that mean? Make sure your house is well lit. We talk about using timers, but know that if somebody's watching your home, a simple timer, having your house lights go on every single day at 7:15 is not much of a deterrent. Call your local law enforcement. There are a lot of neighborhoods in Harris County where local law enforcement will knowing that you're away, will do periodic drive-bys every day to check your property, walk around your home and make sure everything is secure. Call your alarm company. I can't tell you how many times we've had people call us and say, well, I was in Australia, I was in France, I was in California, and my home got broken into, and the alarm company did just as it should. They called my husband's cell phone. The problem was my husband was with me in California or Mexico or wherever else, and they couldn't reach us. So call your alarm company and have another person as a primary point of contact for those times that you're away and quite possibly cannot be reached. And then use your neighbors. See if there is somebody around who can maybe move a car. Have a car in a driveway one day, have the car in front of your house the next day. Make sure there's no mail piled up. You should, of course, stop your mail, but if you don't think of it, have a neighbor pick it up for you. Yeah. Use the community resources you have. We don't want anyone to ever plan for a disaster or to think that a disaster is going to happen, but plan against it. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think that all sounds like some good information. I think that the social media, you're right, it's hard not to post stuff on social media. But, if you've got people coming in and out of your house, because there are house sitters now, there are pet sitters now. And if they're coming different times every day, I think that's good.
Yeah, show movement. Whatever you can do to show movement in your home, it's really, really important. And trust me, you live in a neighborhood with people who are traveling as well. I mean, you're going to want to help each other. Simple things is if the trash comes, make sure the bins are taken off of your property. Again, the mail is key. Know that somebody that's interested in breaking into a home is going to drive down a street looking for the easiest target. The first easiest target is a house that looks vacant. So make sure your home looks like it's well kept, taken care of, the lawn is still mowed, the trees are trimmed, and there is some activity. There's somebody that has their eye on your property, even if you're not there.
Is summer a prime time to have your home broken into versus other times of the year? Is that a target time?
You know what a target time is really? It's any day of the year in the morning. So, summer does peak because people know that people are vacationing. But any day of the year, we're finding that those early morning hours are a huge target for criminals and for homeowners.
Early morning, like 2 a.m. or early morning, like after you've gone to work at like 9 a.m.?
Right. right when they expect that you've left the house, like
Okay.
that 7 to 9 a.m. You're going to find that's when most homes are hit. And again, it's that prime opportunity. People just left, the alarm is on, it may not be on. People are so busy, nobody's paying attention. There's a lot of in and out in the neighborhood, so we see that it's a prime target for criminals. But all throughout the year, especially if you're letting the world know that you're going away, make sure people know that somebody's looking after your home.
Yeah, when my house was broken into, it was broken into around 10 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Right on target. Right with what you said.
The morning hours, like they get their cup of coffee and then say, let's go break into people's homes.
Yeah.
And that's what we just say people need to be careful of.
Yeah. So how can HOAs help you?
HOAs, and depending on where you live, can provide services. Again, they don't want these types of people in their neighborhoods. They don't want to hear that your home's been broken into. You don't need to tell the entire world that you're leaving, but contact your HOA, let them know you'll be out of town, see if there's any other additional services they might have. Again, checking your property, making sure the mail is gone, the lawn is swept, there's no garbage out, in terms of your garbage bins in the front of the house. They can step in for you, and it's their job in some cases to make sure your property is maintained, and that's something that they'll want to do.
Once you're on vacation, there are a lot of safety things to think about too. I did a really great class with HRER, a security service that does classes, and one of the things that he was telling us about is hotel security and how to be safe in the hotel, and I thought that was really interesting. What are some tips that you have for people when they're actually traveling, in the airport, at the resort, at the hotel? What would you tell them?
There's so many things, people spend so much time on planning the flight, booking the hotel. Well, then we'll sit and ask, well, how are you going to get around when you land and wherever? Oh, I think we're going to call a cab. Okay, well, where you're going, is private transportation the way to go? Is it public transportation? Is it the subway system? Think about where you're going. Do you know where the local U.S. embassy is? Do you need to change currency? Do you know where to go to change currency? What types of personal information do you need to have on your body when you're traveling? Your passport or a copy of your passport, your license, identification for your children. There's so many things. Study the area. There are certain areas where, there are certain crime trends going on that are very, very easy to just look up and become familiar with, so the environment where you're going. A lot of people, especially in summer, let their kids go off on their own, which again is great. But do your kids know how to handle? Do they know how to navigate a new city? Do they know, what questions to ask? What might potentially set them up to be targets? There are a lot of things you need to do when you travel to make sure that you're safe. And simple, all of it, very, very simple. It's just taking the time.
Yeah.
To think.
The more you know, the safer you'll be. I don't think that, teaching kids things like that, I don't think it scares them. I think it makes them more aware, and I believe in it. I really do. I think that the more they know, the better educated they are, the better. I tell my kids things and people say, well, you're going to scare them. I want them to know. I want them to know they got to grow up in the real world.
Well, the funny thing, and it's a conversation I always have, when you talk about, okay, my daughters are going to go away for the summer, 2 weeks to Mexico or wherever. Okay, have you talked to them about the potential for human trafficking or the potential for XYZ? Oh, no, I don't want to scare them. Well, wait a minute. If you feel like that's going to scare them and they can't even handle the conversation,
right. Why
on earth would you ever put them in a situation where a real life scenario could pop up and they'll be left all alone to make a decision like that? There's nothing wrong ever with talking through scenarios, especially if you're allowing them to possibly be in them.
Yeah. And I heard human trafficking is it's like Houston's like the top area for that now. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Number one.
That's scary. Number one in the US? Wow. That's just horrible.
Oh, it's so scary. It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to put your home out on the market and move out of it, and it's going to be a vacant property, keep these things in mind. It's just real important that you go by and check on it, have the neighbors checking on it. After the realtors show it, go back and check on it. Make sure they lock the doors, turn the alarm on, did the things that they were supposed to do, because sometimes they get busy talking to those buyers and they forget. They walk right out the door and leave it unlocked. I've had that happen before in my own property that I have for sale. I've had that happen, and they don't mean to do it, but I've seen it done. So sellers have to beware when they're selling a vacant property. So we appreciate the information. Great talking to you, Rania. Always wonderful information.
having me. I love it. Anytime.
Love what you guys do over there at Crime Stoppers. Fantastic organization. We'll be right back here on Houston Real Estate Radio.
Hello everyone, welcome to HRER.com. My name is Rania. I would like to speak a little bit about security and safety for individuals who travel and also doing business in the United States. We created this website to provide useful tools in reference to security, to minimize your chances to become a victim to acts of terrorism, crime, and kidnapping. We offer different type of classes, and I encourage you to visit our website, HRER.com. Visit our website and check what kind of classes we offer around Texas, around Houston, and around the country. We have an extensive background in military and the security field, approximately 30 years. So we're going to offer you a very useful tools that based on our experience in security, in terrorism, and hopefully will boost your security and awareness and confidence when you go to your business objectives. Again, we hope to see you in our classes that we offer at HRER.com, and be safe.
you